folks, have you ever had the feeling that you were being watched? Or was it a knowingness? In other words, you knew for a fact that someone was there, stalking you, harassing you, methodically and maliciously ripping your life apart from a distance, from the shadows. This is the reality for quite a few individuals who have come to an understanding that they have indeed been targeted by groups that have special interest, such as secret societies, branches of the government including the NSA, CIA, FBI, local law enforcement, the military. I'll go as far as to include non-human entities on that list. And nobody wants to talk about this. Why? Well, this is not a situation that you can easily help someone out of or protect them from. We are walking around in a real-life Matrix movie, folks. And those agents in the movie are real. I'm not talking about computer programs. I'm talking about living in our physical reality, evil beings that can kill you. Some people think that these targeted individuals are delusional. Some people know that they are not. Now I want to talk about what's happening here. So, at this point you have two choices. And in the famous words of Morpheus, you take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. So, individuals who are targeted for several reasons. For now, I want to discuss the individuals who are targeted because of their blood type. Let me explain this. What I am about to tell you, many will find difficulty accepting, but I will try to present this in a way that makes sense to most people with intelligence. Now, for those of you who are old enough to remember, there was a time when people who were going to be married and wanted children visited the doctor to test their blood type compatibility. This was done to ensure healthy procreation. These days, people just have sex, and whatever happens, happens. They don't know their child's blood type. They don't know their own blood type. Human beings belong to what's called the ABO blood group system, and each person is one of four blood types: A, B, AB, and O. This is all determined by your genes, and each person carries two sets of these genes. The A and the B are both antigens. Now, an antigen is basically a sugar or protein in the membrane of the red blood cells. This causes your body to have an immune response, or in other words, it causes your body to produce antibodies against the antigen. These antigens can come from outside the body, and antigens such as A and B are produced by the body due to DNA. So, a person with blood type A would have the A antigen on their red blood cells, and they would also have B antibodies in their plasma. A person with blood type B would have the B antigen on their red blood cells and A antibodies in their plasma. Now, a person with blood type AB has both antigens on their red blood cells, but they do not have either of the antibodies in their plasma. Blood type O does not have A or B antigens, but there is both A and B antibodies in their plasma. This is why blood type O is the universal donor and blood type AB is the universal recipient. Most people are blood type O. then A, and then B. The rarest is blood type AB. Are you with me so far? The RHD gene is what makes your blood type positive or negative. This is the rhesus gene, and it is found in both humans and primates. This is why it was mistakenly named after the rhesus monkey. This gene is actually the D antigen. Now, I want to make this clear. This does not mean that we came from primates or are in any way related to them. As much as people try to tell you that we are similar, the fact is we are quite different. If you want to say that primates and humans come from a similar template of design, I will accept that more than I will accept primates naturally evolving into humans over time. When it comes to this Rh factor, most people have this D antigen and are considered to be Rh positive. There is only about 5 to 15% of the world's population that are Rh negative. And this is where things get interesting, folks. We are not sure of exactly how many genes are in humans, but it has been narrowed down to estimations between 19 and 25,000. Of these genes, there is around 1% that cannot be found in any other species on the planet. If you take one of these unique human genes to genetically manipulate the growth of an animal, amazing things occur, such as a thicker neocortex or bigger brain. If you can add a certain gene to improve brain development of a species, could you add a gene to retard the development? As I stated, most people are Rh positive, but the small percentage of people who are Rh negative have some very interesting attributes. The majority of people who are Rh negative are of European descent, although there are a very few number of blacks who are as well. People who are Rh negative tend to have reddish hair, blue, green, or hazel eyes, as well as sensitive vision, lower blood pressure and body temperature, sensitivity to heat and sunlight. They also tend to have higher than average IQs, some claiming to have ESP. In fact, many professional psychics are Rh negative. Aside from this, they cannot receive blood from any other blood type unless it is blood from someone else who is Rh negative. And it is very likely that a woman who is Rh negative giving birth to a child who is Rh positive could produce an immune response and attack the child like a virus, resulting in the death of the infant. Because at birth, some of the child's blood mixes with the mother's. They have found a way to prevent this from happening, but the woman would have to know her own blood type and her partner's blood type beforehand. Now understand this, folks. There are efforts being put forth by special interest groups to identify these people. And in certain circumstances, many of them are being targeted. This can be simply someone following them or harassing them, and in many instances not by just one person, but a gang of people on hourly shifts. These situations often end in violence and could lead to the victim coming up missing. But who would target these individuals? Well, the Basque of Spain and France seems to be where this blood type originated, and it is a fact that the royal family are descendants of this blood type or bloodline. Now, the blue bloodline is the most sacred thing to the royal family. They believe that this Rh factor is what separates them from other people, and they do not believe in breeding outside of that bloodline. But we have Rh negative people of different ethnicities around the world. So, if you knew that this Rh negative blood type did in fact somehow show up outside of your royal bloodline, and your goal is to keep this bloodline intact and in control, what would you do? Exactly. You target, manipulate, and control the people who have this blood type. To number 1, keep them from having children with this blood type, and 2, kill them off. But not before observing them, not before finding out if they have any special abilities or value. Now, we don't know if this D antigen was added to our genetic code to dumb us down, or if it was removed to make a select few more unique. What we do know is that there is an agenda for individuals who are targeted based on blood type. Know this, folks. People who are Rh negative are also more susceptible to mind control because of their sensitivities. And I believe a contributing factor to this susceptibility could be the amount of melanin in the skin. So, as an evil elitist, if you want to control people and you find out for some reason you can't control them because of their genetics, then you just wipe them out, leaving the only people you can control, people like yourself. And you manipulate them, you follow them, you sabotage their life, hoping that they will just want to kill themselves, and maybe a whole bunch of other people around them in the process. There are many things we need to look into. This Rh negative blood type brings up a lot of questions, and I don't think many people know what this means. Two healthy individuals, human beings, should have no problems procreating with each other if they are in fact of the same species. As far as I know, we are the only species this is happening to. And it is up to us, the individual, to be aware of what is happening, to understand this, to not only course and end the targeting, but to keep them from targeting our children.
So, what is the question being asked here? Do you want to know if you're of alien descent? Do you want to know if you might have inherited superpowers? Do you want to know if you have giant blood or come from a descendant of an Atlantean survivor? So let's say we look at it like this. Blood types are classified based on the presence or absence of certain antigens on the surface of red blood cells. I know most people are familiar with the ABO and Rh positive or negative blood type systems. No need to go down that same road again. I'll see if I can link to the video I did on that topic some time ago, but there are many rare blood types that exist. Rare blood types are those that occur in fewer than 1 in 1,000 people. We're talking about genetic mutations, regional genetic diversity, and some population-specific characteristics. A blood type is considered rare if it lacks certain common antigens or possesses rare antigens. And this is the reason why just knowing the blood types is not enough to get answers. Your blood type is how your blood cells express antigens. Now, people say that your blood type can affect your susceptibility to diseases and infections. It can affect your blood clotting and cardiovascular health. They say it may affect your immune response and autoimmune disorders, your personality and psychological traits. But these are just opinions, as you might have guessed. So I want to talk about a couple of things. First on blood types, and then some on the mysterious theories surrounding blood types. A few you may have never heard of before. Many theories appeal to the idea of exclusivity, specialness, or hidden power, resonating with people's desire for belonging or superiority. The rarest blood type in the world, with fewer than 50 known individuals worldwide, Rh null, also known as golden blood, lacks all Rh antigens, making it a universal donor for Rh blood types, but not so easy to find when it comes to sourcing for transfusions. There is the Bombay blood group, HH, found in parts of India and extremely rare worldwide. This blood type lacks the H antigen present in almost all blood types, making it incompatible with most other blood types, including O. There are AB negative, the rarest of the common ABO and Rh types, occurring in about 0.6% of the world population. And because of the difficulties in finding compatible blood transfusions, especially in emergencies, rare blood types require international networks and registries to match donors with recipients. So there have been several theories about rare blood types, particularly concerning Rh negative blood and its connection to mysterious or even extraterrestrial origins. The Rh negative alien bloodline theory suggests that Rh negative blood, particularly the rare Rh null type, is evidence of extraterrestrial ancestry. Some say that because Rh negative individuals lack the common Rh antigen found in most humans, they must have descended from an alien race or have genetic material that is not of this earth. Some tie this to ancient astronaut theories. Some theorists claim that the Rh negative blood is more prevalent among the global elite, suggesting a hidden bloodline that carries unique traits or abilities such as higher intelligence, psychic powers, or leadership qualities. Now, this belief is often connected to the idea of the Illuminati or other secret societies that supposedly wield hidden power and influence over world affairs. The aristocratic term blue bloods, which historically referred to European nobility, some theorists believe that the term originated from Rh negative individuals who supposedly have bluer veins due to their unique blood type. They say that this rare blood type has been preserved through selective breeding among royal families, reinforcing ideas of divine right or superior genetics. There is another theory that links Rh negative blood to the Nephilim. Some believe that rare blood types, especially Rh negative, are the result of genetic manipulation by ancient advanced civilizations like Atlantis or Lemuria. And these civilizations, they claim, were experimenting with human DNA to create a more advanced or spiritually enlightened race. The existence of rare blood types is seen as a remnant of these ancient genetic programs. There's another theory that suggests governments and secret organizations are conducting research on rare blood types to unlock hidden abilities or characteristics. The claim is that rare blood types are more resistant to certain diseases or have unique health properties, and that organizations are attempting to harness these traits for nefarious purposes. There is the idea that these people are actually human-alien hybrids that possess distinct psychological, physiological, or even psychic traits, setting them apart from the general population. Some also tie this idea to UFO abduction stories, suggesting that certain blood types are targeted by extraterrestrial entities for genetic experiments or harvesting. There are beliefs that rare blood types are of interest for secretive medical research and bioweapons programs. Ideas that governments are attempting to develop tailored biological weapons or medical interventions that selectively target or protect certain blood types. And we have discovered that some of that happened to be true. Humans are naturally drawn to mysteries, especially those involving hidden histories or potential supernatural elements. Now let's see, there's the bloodline of Jesus theory, a claim that people with rare blood types or those who are Rh negative may be descendants of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene. This is based on the idea that Jesus had a unique blood type and that a secret bloodline, often referred to as the Holy Grail bloodline, has been carefully protected and hidden throughout history by certain groups like the Knights Templar or Priory of Sion. There is the one about Rh negative blood types possessing unique psychic abilities such as telepathy, precognition, or some type of heightened sixth sense. The lack of the Rh antigen is thought to correlate with increased spiritual or psychic awareness due to a higher concentration of magnetic or electromagnetic fields within the body. Rare blood types are remnants of the population of Atlantis, where survivors of Atlantis spread throughout the world, and their unique blood types are supposed to be the surviving evidence of their existence. Some theorists think that people with rare blood types, especially Rh negative, are either descendants of reptilians or have a genetic predisposition toward reptilian traits, such as heightened intelligence or cold-blooded behavior. There is that story about the Anunnaki and their genetic intervention. Secret organizations like the Bilderberg Group or the Trilateral Commission are aware of the unique properties of rare blood types and are actively collecting data or samples for who knows what, controlling specific populations or developing a new master race based on rare blood types. Your guess is as good as mine. Some believe that rare blood types, particularly those with common antigens, may hold the key to anti-aging or even immortality. A more esoteric theory suggests that certain rare blood types could be markers for those who will survive a prophesied apocalypse or global cataclysm. Some claim that these blood types have been prophesied in religious texts or ancient writings to be the chosen ones who will repopulate the earth or be raptured or something next level, right? This is one of the reasons why parents think their kids are special. The child of the stars, the chosen one, right? Then there is this darker theory about individuals with rare blood types being targeted by sinister groups such as, shadow governments, cults, or extraterrestrial beings for their unique blood. Abductions, disappearances. They say certain types of medical procedures are part of a covert program to harvest these rare blood types for research, for the consumption of flesh and special hormones or biological material or ritual purposes. There are so many things that can be used against us. There are a good number of people who have sent out samples of their DNA to be tested, and I think many of those people may entertain the possibility that people can still want to target you for many reasons, including your genetics. If we ever reach a point where people are discriminated against based on genetics, well, that happens already. But in the rise of a dystopian future, something like employers using genetic information to discriminate against individuals with a predisposition to certain diseases, leading to unfair hiring or firing practices, can become a reality for several people in this position. Insurance companies could deny coverage or charge higher premiums based on genetic predispositions to specific health conditions, even if the person has not developed those conditions. Genetic data could be accessed by law enforcement without consent. Then later you have wrongful accusations or privacy invasions. As seen in some controversial uses of genetic databases for solving cold cases, companies could use genetic information to target individuals with misleading health products, supplements, or services tailored to genetic needs, right? They'll use genetic data to predict behavioral traits, leading to manipulative marketing strategies targeting individuals' vulnerabilities. They can use it in extreme scenarios to promote selective breeding, favoring certain traits and discriminating against others, similar to unethical eugenics practices from the past. The ability to select embryos based on genetic traits, opening the door to unethical decisions about which traits are deemed desirable. Governments could misuse genetic data to track and monitor specific populations, targeting minorities or dissidents under the guise of national security. In dystopian scenarios, genetic information could be used to assign individuals a social credit score based on genetic health or their intelligence, or other perceived attributes influencing access to social services and opportunities. You see, they have to get you to accept using the technology first before they start mandating things. It has to become normal. Genetic tests can reveal unexpected information about parentage, infidelity, or unknown relatives, which can cause personal turmoil or be exploited for malicious purposes. Individuals could be blackmailed with sensitive genetic information, such as the discovery of predispositions to stigmatized conditions or undisclosed family relationships. Genetic information could theoretically be used to develop bioweapons that target specific genetic profiles. Scientists or entities might use genetic information to conduct unauthorized genetic editing experiments, using things such as CRISPR, without ethical oversight. Scientists can go mad. With everything going on in the world today with AI, people believe individuals with rare blood types are more closely monitored by AI systems or databases so that they can track, so that they can catalog and study these individuals for potential use in future scientific experiments or specific societal roles in the future. You have the hidden genetic hybrid program theory. Some people believe that the DNA of those with rare blood types contains hidden messages or ancient knowledge encoded by ancient civilizations or divine entities. And unlocking these secrets is seen as the key to understanding our human origins and our destiny, or unlocking hidden abilities. Folks, that's a lot that comes with having a rare blood type. I would be completely happy just having, in very simple terms, regular blood. Now, it can't be all true, right? Maybe some things are true for different blood types. So are these blood types rare because they are special, or special because they are rare? There is a deeply complex and controversial phenomenon that exists. It plagues individuals who report being subjected to a range of distressing experiences, from constant surveillance to electronic harassment, leading to severe psychological and emotional distress. While targeted individuals, or TIs, sincerely believe in the reality of their experiences, many experts in the medical and psychological fields view these claims through a different lens. They often attribute these experiences to mental health conditions, such as paranoia or delusional disorder, rather than actual targeting by external forces. So this makes the discussion of TIs rather contentious, because it combines genuine suffering with questions of mental health, reality, and the influence of online communities that reinforce those beliefs. But it's not really up to me or others looking from the outside to make that determination about any one individual, is it? From perceived harassment and gang stalking to the role of advanced technology and the response from the medical community, my aim here is to provide a balanced view of the issue. Because the bottom line here is there is a legitimate fear or belief and controversy that surrounds the lives of those who consider themselves targeted individuals. So instead of trying to figure out if someone is truly experiencing this or if it's all in their head, I just want to go over this and explore the solutions. So that way, whether what a person is experiencing is real or not, they will at least have some ideas of what they can do. It doesn't matter if it's the government, a secret agency, some AI monitoring system, or some psycho ex-girlfriend or boyfriend. You should have in your arsenal things you can do and plans you can execute so you don't have to live your life in fear. Nobody wants to live their life hiding from the boogeyman. Targeted individuals, or TIs, is a term used by people who believe they are victims of organized stalking, harassment, or surveillance by various entities. That includes government agencies, corporations, or other powerful groups. It's discussed in online communities much due to the distress experienced by those who identify as TIs. But of course, medical and scientific communities tend to attribute these experiences to psychological conditions rather than actual targeting. So we have perceived harassment, where TIs often report being subjected to various forms of harassment, which they believe are intended to control, intimidate, or harm them. Being followed or watched by individuals or groups. Claims of being attacked or manipulated through electronic devices such as through directed energy weapons, microwave attacks, or other technologies. Beliefs that their communications, their activities, and personal lives are being closely monitored. And I know the feeling. But for me, the feeling is very temporary as I get busy with daily life. The fear or paranoia or suspicion that someone may be monitoring me or watching me fades quickly and I forget about it. Or I come to a realization that who has the time, money, and resources to target someone like me? Joke's on them. They can waste their time and risk their life if they want to. Now, a significant aspect of the TI experience is gang stalking, where the individual believes that groups of people are collaborating to monitor or harass and intimidate them. This can include strangers in public places acting in ways that seem coordinated, such as following the individual or engaging in what they interpret as synchronized behaviors. It could be an actual gang stalking someone because they may have witnessed a crime or a drug deal, or maybe the gang members just don't like that person. They could be waiting for the opportune time to commit a crime against that person or break into their house. That is real gang stalking when we are talking about street gangs, right? That's an example of what a lot of people are familiar with. Some TIs believe they are victims of advanced technology that can manipulate their thoughts, their emotions, their physical sensations. They might report experiencing feeling as though their thoughts are being influenced or controlled by external forces, hearing voices or sounds that they believe are being transmitted directly into their minds using advanced technology. The medical and psychological communities often view the experiences of TIs through the lens of mental health, particularly conditions such as paranoia, delusional disorder, or schizophrenia. These conditions can cause individuals to perceive threats or conspiracies that aren't based in reality. Now, that may be the case for many people, but how can we tell looking from the outside, especially if that person does not have a history of mental illness? Now, TIs can often find solace and support in online communities where they can share their experiences and find validation from others who report similar experiences. And the only downside to that is these communities can reinforce beliefs in the existence of organized harassment, creating a feedback loop that intensifies the belief in being targeted, especially if the community doesn't offer any solutions. Now, this phenomenon can actually be looked at in history. For example, Babylon. And this is another requested video, by the way, and the conclusion to this Babylon series. Now, Babylon had a highly organized and sophisticated society with powerful rulers like King Nebuchadnezzar II. The idea of targeting individuals in the context of Babylon can be interpreted in a few ways, primarily relating to how the Babylonian Empire dealt with enemies and certain individuals. When Babylon conquered a territory, they would target the elite and influential individuals within those societies to prevent rebellion and solidify control. For example, when Babylon conquered Judah, it targeted the Jewish elite, including priests, nobles, and educated individuals, and then deported them to Babylon. This was a strategic move to weaken the conquered society by removing its leaders and potential sources of resistance while enriching Babylon with their skills and knowledge. Individuals who were seen as threats to the king's power, such as potential rivals or disloyal nobles, could be targeted for removal, which might involve imprisonment, execution, or assassination. The Babylonians, like other ancient empires, likely employed spies and informants to monitor and target individuals who posed a threat to the state or the king's authority. This could include rivals within the royal family, rebellious governors, or influential individuals in conquered territories. In order to maintain control over conquered peoples, Babylon often targeted religious leaders and institutions. By controlling or suppressing the religious practices of a subjugated population, the Babylonians tried to weaken the cultural identity and resistance of that group. Babylon's rulers, especially Nebuchadnezzar II, used grand construction projects like the Ishtar Gate and the Hanging Gardens, which were symbolic of their power and might. These projects were used as psychological tools to target the minds of both Babylonians and conquered peoples, reinforcing the idea of the king's divine authority and the futility of resistance. Public punishments and executions were used as a means to target individuals who defied the state, as deterrents, to instill fear and obedience, you see? So if someone genuinely believes they are being targeted, whether by individuals, groups, or institutions, it's important to approach the situation calmly and with strategy. First, document everything. Document all incidents that lead you to believe you are being targeted. You want to include dates, times, locations, descriptions of the events, and any individuals involved, photos, videos, audio recordings. And you're going to look for patterns in the incidents. Are they happening at specific times or places? Is there a common denominator in the situations? Now, if a person thinks it's necessary, they can seek legal advice. A lawyer can help you understand your legal rights and options. Sometimes they can advise you on how to handle potential harassment, stalking, threats, etc. If necessary, they can assist in filing restraining orders or other legal actions. Again, if necessary. If you can't identify who is targeting you, then it's probably not going to be much help to you. Next, and you should already have this in place if you can, you want to enhance your personal security. Consider installing security cameras, alarm systems, and strong locks to protect your home. If you suspect surveillance, countermeasures like privacy screens or signal blocking materials can help. Protect your digital life by using strong, unique passwords for all accounts and being cautious about what you share online. Consider using encrypted communication methods if you feel your communications are being intercepted, VPNs, things of that nature. Be aware of your surroundings, especially in public places. Vary your routines to avoid predictability. If you suspect someone is following you, go to a public place or contact authorities. Then there's dogs and firearms. You could have layered protection. First, you have a fence or a gate. If they get past that, then you have to get past the dog. If they get past the dog, they have to get past the locked doors or windows. If they get past all that, then they better know how to dodge bullets. Now, if you have the means, a professional investigator might be able to gather evidence to support your claims or identify the source of the targeting. If you believe you're being targeted through electronic means, you can consult experts who can detect and counteract potential surveillance devices or electronic harassment. If the targeting involves criminal behavior such as stalking, harassment, or threats, report it to law enforcement. Provide them with the documentation and evidence you've collected. That may help protect you from the law if something goes down, so you don't get pointed at as the perpetrator. So that law enforcement has a better chance of knowing what's going on before they get there. If that makes you feel better and if you trust your local law enforcement. And that is, of course, if you don't think that they're the ones doing the targeting. If the initial response from authorities is dismissive, you may have to be persistent. You may need to speak to higher level officials or consult your attorney to ensure your concerns are taken seriously. But they normally want you to come with evidence, unless you can afford to hire personal bodyguards or investigators. I wouldn't keep things secret. I would talk to trusted friends, family members, or colleagues about your experiences. If they care, they can offer emotional support and may help you identify solutions you haven't considered. Consider joining support groups. Those are okay, either in person or online, where others with similar experiences can offer advice and empathy. But be cautious in these spaces, as they can sometimes reinforce fears rather than provide constructive solutions. If you trust the people where you live, if you have good neighbors, engaging your local community or neighborhood to watch out and awareness efforts can create a protective network around you, making it more difficult for targeting behavior to continue. You don't have to address this type of situation as if you're alone or you have to do things on your own. Sometimes it's good to take a step back and consider alternative explanations for the events. Stress, past trauma, or mental health issues can sometimes lead to the belief that one is being targeted, especially if that has happened to you before. If a crazy ex or person has stalked or harassed you before, it's easy to think that they'll do it again, sometimes months or years later. Dealing with a situation where you believe you're being targeted requires a balanced approach that includes several strategies. It's not easy. By documenting evidence, seeking professional help, enhancing your security, and engaging with authorities, you can really reduce the risk and work towards resolving the issue. And it lets the entity who is targeting you know that you are aware. Taking care of your mental and emotional well-being is just as important as addressing the external situation. Sometimes that is the main thing you need to take care of. being targeted by witches, spirits, extra dimensional beings, or aliens, that is actually a topic for another video, because that is a bit more complex.